Hello, students. I'm here to talk to you all about historical context, right? So I got the idea for making this guide for you on historical context because in the past, I think that is the number one error I see on my students when they submit assignments, right? They are very informed and they're very good about you know understanding the events of the past, but they have this misrepresentation of history because they lack historical context, right? So I think the number one mistake that not just students but that we all make when judging history is doing what is called presentism, right? So presentism is judging the events of the past with the eyes of the present, right? So that is like expecting people in the past to have our understanding, our knowledge, our same moral values, our same principles, and we sometimes tend to judge things in the past with a misrepresentation of what they're doing because we expect them to be like people of the present, right? So that is called presentism, and I think that is the most important mistake that people make when judging about history is the idea of seeing people or events in a vacuum and not giving their proper historical context, right? So people, events, they're a result of their time, right? So if people did things the way they did, if we acted, or if the laws were a certain way at the time, it's because during those times, those that is how the world functioned around those times, right? So a more simple example is to avoid presentism is when people think of the idea of why were we kind of like so dumb in the past. And it's kind of like, it's not that we're dumb, is that we in the present, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, right? That we have a lot of knowledge because people in the past, have gotten us that knowledge, right? So we act with a lot of knowledge in the present because of the things that people did in the past, right? So it's not that people in the past were dumb because they're smoking in airplanes or in the hospital or whatever. It's because they don't have the knowledge that we have today, right? So it's not that we're dumb. It's not that we are just don't care about things. It's that we don't have the knowledge in the past, right? So it's important to have that historical context when we judge, any historical context, right? It can be, from the discovery of the America to the Vietnam War, which is about the period of time that I cover in class, right? So it can be any of those events, but at any step of the way that we're covering those events, it's important to always have historical context, right? And again, you always need to think of like, what were the people at the time doing? What were the people around the world doing, right? What was the standard, right? Not judge them in a vacuum and saying like, well, I don't know why people were doing that, right? I don't understand why people were acting in those manners. Like, why were we doing those things? Kind of like, well, because that was the world around there, right? That was how the world worked during those times, all right? So I hope this helps you understand the significance of historical context, why it's so important to be able to understand the context of the events before making an interpretation of them. Because at the end of the day, guys, historical context is going to be vital for an accurate understanding of history that enables us to interpret events properly and to learn from them effectively. All right. So if you do have any questions, let me know. I'll be around, guys, and be safe. Okay. See you.